All right.
All
Fair
right,
enough.
let's finish this up. This uh, very long preview with the Netherlands. UEFA's Group G winners go to their 11th final and their first since 2014 after disappointingly missing out on 2018. Could you imagine doing that? I couldn't.
I couldn't.
Louis Van Gaal at the ripe young age of 71, taking his side back into the World Cup, ready to make another run for the final game where they've been three times before 74, 78, and 2010. The strong back line is giving a lot of support to this young, exciting attacking core, and they're ready to show the world that the eighth ranked team is not to be messed with. Seems like they've been doing pretty all right in their last couple games. Tell me about them.
Yeah, last 5 games for the Netherlands, they've got, I believe they were all Nations League games. So
Yep.
got a 1-0 win against Belgium, 2-0 win against Poland, 3-2 win against Wales, 2-2 draw against Poland, and a 4-1 win over Belgium. Rankings wise, I mean, I'm sure you could imagine they're all pretty strong. Belgium's sitting at number 2 right now, Poland at 26, and Wales at 19. So pretty tough competition, and they're pulling out good results.
That they are. Goals coming from all over the place as well. Virgil van Dijk picking one up. Bergwijn has one. Gakpo has two. Depay, Dumfries, Klaassen, Weghorst, Koopa Miners. I mean, it's not just one. You're not shutting down one. You got to shut down an entire team. Um, yeah, that's pretty impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Um, if we're talking about individual players, though, I think they're at a bit of a disadvantage as they have a very large lack of MLS players. So I don't really see them going super far.
That's a
But
fair point. Good analysis.
um, obviously, the big player that I'm watching, Virgil van Dijk, this overrated center back from Liverpool. Um, Dude was voted best defender in the world just a couple years ago, and now he's taking his side as the captain into a World Cup, looking to make amends for that 2018 miss out. You can expect out of him what you've seen for Liverpool the last couple of years. Really good distribution from center back to wing, strong aerial and 1v1 defending, and really good leadership in the back. He's surrounded by a bunch of really good, strong, experienced defenders as well. So, I mean, on paper, this team looks dangerous.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um, yeah, Van Dyke's definitely their best player, I would say. Despite the fact that I think he's been a bit off form this season for Liverpool so far. Uh, by no means does that mean he's been bad, but definitely not up to the standard that he was previously at, where he was, I would say, in many people's opinion and in my own, the best defender in the world. The guy
Wrong,
for me, though,
wrong. Hold on, please. Best defender in the world. How dare you disrespect James Tarkowski, and Connor Cody like that?
I thought you were about to say Aaron Long, to be honest with you, or like
I
Sean
really
Dyche.
wanted to, but we're in the Premier League state of mind, so my Euro snob is going off.
All right. Yeah, so I think Van Dijk's their best player. The player for me that I think is actually most important, and I'm actually skipping over another player that I have first in my top players list because I really want to talk about this guy is Memphis Depay.
Okay,
Cur- Currently at Barcelona. Uh,
it's Baroque Alona, get it right.
you're right. Broke a UEFA Lona. Um,
Europa Alona.
yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Europa
Uh,
Lona.
are we toxic? Are we the issue?
I think a lot of people would be happy with that nickname for them. Um, has not really played much this season for them. I believe was battling an injury, if I remember correctly. So he's only got 1 goal in 2 appearances. But his play on the international stage has been insane. He has been so good for the Netherlands. And that includes 5 games in the Nations League where he put up a 7.55 rating, 3 goals and 1 assist. And again, remember that's against strong competition. That's um, they were in a group with Belgium, Poland, Wales. Like those are tough teams. Then for World Cup qualifying, this man was arguably the best player in all of World Cup qualifying. In 10 games, he had 12 goals and 6 assists for an 8.69 rating. That is absurd. He was unbelievable in World Cup qualifying. Um, in their most recent friendlies, which wasn't so recent, but in the most recent friendlies against Denmark and Germany, he got a goal against Denmark and an assist against Germany. So he on the international stage, he has been absolutely torching teams. He has been unbelievably good. So I think he is their biggest X factor because if he continues that run for the Netherlands, this team is going to be so dangerous, especially with how good they are in defense already. And if he's banging in goals. So he's my biggest X factor for them.
Like that. I'm actually going to back up for a second and compare a different, very exciting attacker in Cody Gakpo. Mr. Gakpo is one of the most exciting young prospects out of the Eredivisie, and to those who are in the know, like myself, know that he is being labeled as the best player in the league right now. He's got 2 goals, obviously, in his last 5 national team appearances. Um, and from what I've heard and what I've read, is the dude just loves going forward and creating chances, scoring goals. He can do it from the center of the pitch. He can do it from the wing. Um, but as close to the goal as you can get him, the better he is. He's not really a 9. He's more of a withdrawn player if you're going to play him in the middle, but he thrives out on the wings. Um, expect him to be heavily, heavily involved in creating chances and scoring them as well, all over the pitch. He's going to be a handful for a lot of defenders. When we talk about those Qatar players, for example, needing to get used to a different style of play, he's going to be a different style of play, that's for sure. Who else do you got?
Last guy I got on my list, Frankie de Jong, probably a pretty obvious one for a lot of people listening. Major big name for the Netherlands, playing at Europa Lona with his buddy Memphis, putting up a 7.29 rating so far this season for Europa Lona. 11 appearances, 1 goal, 0 assists. But I wouldn't read too much into that considering he plays in the midfield. On the international stage, put up a 7.02 rating at the Nations League in 5 games with 1 assist. And in World Cup qualifying, had a 7.25 rating across 10 games. No goals or assists, but I believe he was playing in more of a defensive role, so that's not overly surprising. In those not so recent friendlies, he got an assist against Denmark and no goal contributions against Germany, but I think he's going to be a major part of their midfield where I almost feel like the midfield is maybe potentially one of their weaker points, depending on how they want to line up. I mean, I think he will end up being important. Um, and I guess I say weaker, and it's not really weak at all, to be honest. I think they're pretty solid across the board. I think goalkeeper is probably their weakest position, but midfield, I think, is going to be a question mark for me, considering that I see, Depay doing a lot up top, and then the back line, you have so many options. I think they're going to be super rock solid back there. So midfield for me was the biggest question mark, and I think Frankie De Jong is the top player in that midfield for them, and um, a strong performance by him will go a long way for this team.
Yep, I absolutely have him on there as well. Um, One of the best young number 8s in the world, no matter how many times uh, he doesn't get paid and no matter how many fits that he throws. Um, Brocolona, they keep playing him and he keeps doing well. The dude can ball, and I expect him to jump into the midfield, set the tempo, and run the show. If he wants to go fast, that team's going to go fast. If he wants to slow it down and keep the ball, he's going to slow it down and keep the ball. Predicted 11. They love a good 3-5-2. That Louis Van Gaal 3-5-2 system, baby. I've got Jasper Cillessen in goal. They let Pasveer from Ajax jump in goal for his first appearance at age 38. I don't think he'll be making World Cup appearances there, but hey, you never know. But the back 3, I've got Van Dijk, I've got De Ligt, and I'm going with Timber to start. However, that can be flipped with Ake. I know they like to play Ake in there, DeVry. Um, Even Daily Blind at times can get involved there. Um, in the midfield five, I've got Dumfries on one wing, Gakpo on the other, and then a midfield three of Daily Blind, De Jong, and De Roon. Um, Now, Daily Blind has been playing on the left side a lot. I don't necessarily rate him at that spot, but again, I don't know too much, so I'm not going to pretend like I'm completely right. But if Blind does want to go out wide, Ryan Gravenberch can go in that spot. Um, Berghuis can go into that spot as an attacking player. David Clausen, Everton legend, probably going to start and play every game because he's a goat. Um, there's a lot of players that can play into that role. And then you've got up top, as you mentioned, Depay and Bergwijn, who is usually a winger, but will play up top in this one. Veghorst can go in there as well, or Vincent Janssen. So you've got a ton of options there up top. This group is deep. It's dangerous. I would expect nothing less than a final eight appearance for this team, personally.
Yeah, this team, one of the things I love most about this team is how deep they are. I mean, it's like every position on the field, you have a solid backup that can come right in there. So I feel like it's going to be hard to predict their starting 11. I have a few different, probably just because of that. I think shape wise, I'm pretty much exactly the same. Uh, Maybe give or take like slight adjustments. I basically have a 3-5-2 as well. Uh, in goal, I also have Chilson. Uh, I do think he will eventually. I think he will ultimately get the starting role for the World Cup, even though they haven't been playing him the last couple of days. I also would not mind cheeky sub appearance from Tim Krul if this goes to penalties. Not putting it past him. Just
I
saying.
know. I don't know about
Back three, I've actually gone with Van Dijk, Ake, and Timber. I would personally like to see Delict in there instead, but considering this has been the back three that they've been going with a lot lately, I'm gonna think that this is probably what they're gonna go with for the World Cup as well. Um, and then for the midfield, I've got Daily Blind on the left side. I know you said you weren't too big of a fan of that, but I feel like he could do a pretty good job over there. On the right side, I've got Dumfries. In, I guess, like a deeper midfield spot, I've got Frankie de Jong and Steven Bergwijn, um, who I think could be rotated out for a few people, including Darun, who I think you had in your lineup.
that. Mm-hmm.
And at first, in the more advanced midfield role, I had um, Davy Clausen because it seemed like they were playing him a lot lately, and I figured they would probably stick with it. But after you had mentioned Cody Gakpo and I did a little research on him, I cannot, with a right conscience, not put him in the starting 11. So I've got Gakpo in actually a central role here. I got him as like an attacking midfielder. Um, and then up top, I've got Depay and Bergwijn as well. So
Yeah,
not too much of a change, but a couple of guys here and there.
this shape can easily transform into a 3-4-3, right? If you take Bergwijn, play him on the right wing, Depay in the middle, Gakpo on the left wing, same back three. Now you've got Dumfries, De Jong, De Roon, and Blind playing
Mm-hmm.
as a midfield four.
Yeah.
You're chilling, right?
Yeah.
So
Just as strong.
yeah, it's just about the 11 that's going to be on the field, and the shape can figure itself out later.
Yeah. Absolutely.